But before we get to all of that, folks, on the phone, my hope is that we have Stephanie Taylor. She is the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign. And this weekend, and starting today, in fact, I think Bernie Sanders is addressing you guys in about 25 minutes. 300 candidates from around the country are gathered to get training. Is that right, Stephanie?
That's right. We have 300 candidates, many of them in competitive races against Republicans, and they're all getting the nuts and bolts skills training that they need to go out and run best practices campaigns and win.
And so, all right, so what are we talking about? Are we talking about like city council? Are we talking about state elections, state senate seats, state houses? What is it?
Almost everything. I mean, we've got folks who are running for aldermen and city council and school board in their homes, and then we've got in their home districts, and then we've also got people running for state legislature, and we've got about 40 candidates who are running for congressional seats to unseat Republican incumbents, including in some of the races that are going to be the most hotly contested this cycle.
So, I mean, this type of how many years have you guys been doing something like this? And give me a sense of what the candidate pool looks like this year as opposed to other years.
So our training program, we've been operating for about 4 years now, and this is definitely the largest convergence that we've had with these 300 candidates. And I would say that this year we're seeing a lot more excitement, a lot more activists, a lot more people stepping up and wanting to run. I think that what we all saw, was a huge wake-up call after Trump, and a lot of people said, that it's time to go out and help build a movement of activists that are going out and trying to take power and take power back.
And I mean, give me a sense of, I know there are other groups who are sponsoring this, but I mean, where are these candidates? I mean, where are they coming from? Are they and particularly the ones who are running in the more local races? And frankly, 2018, obviously the congressional races are hugely important, perhaps as big of off-year elections as in my lifetime. And maybe I would say that unequivocally. But I think too, what are really key is building a strong bench in the state legislatures. Tuesday night, we saw the election of a Democrat in a special election in New Hampshire. And New Hampshire is one of those states that are on the brink of maybe flipping at least the state houses. And this is hugely important as we get into like the census and in 2020 and redistricting and whatnot. So, I mean, just give me a sense of like, where are these people coming from, and are there targeted races that you guys are focusing on, or is it just providing best practices for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a real mix. We've got folks coming who are taking on Paul Ryan and Jim Jordan. Some of the races that, Dana Rohrabacher, Peter King, John Faso, these are some of the Republicans that are top targets for Democrats on the road to taking back the House in 2018. But then we've got other folks who are taking on some more long shot races. In North Carolina, Jenny Marshall is here. She's running against Virginia Fox. That's going to be a tough race, but you know what? We need to be competing everywhere, and we need to be telling a story everywhere about, what the Republican agenda is like, and force them to compete for every seat.
I've had many conversations, I mean, with yourself and also Adam Green, the co-founder of the PCCC, your co-founder, I should say, and one of the things that has always intrigued me about your organization is the way that you guys have at various times embedded, if not like personnel, but ideas into early campaigns so that candidates can learn that they can win on a very progressive agenda. I mean, you guys were early involved in Elizabeth Warren's campaigns. And so how much do you guys filter out? I mean, when these people come in, give me the sense of how that works for you guys, because you guys obviously have an agenda that involves, expansion of Social Security. I don't know where you guys are on healthcare in terms of single payer and whatnot, but give me a sense of that. And then, what do you guys use a filter, or do you bring people in and then try and show them polling that they can pursue these things? How does that work?
Yeah, we actually have a very competitive application process to come to this training. We had about twice as many applications as we ended up having admitted candidates. We do apply that ideological filter that you were talking about. We're looking for those candidates who, in their gut, intuitively are on the side of people and not corporations, who understand that embracing popular issues like expanding Social Security or debt-free college, that these are winning issues. These are winning issues with independents and Republicans as well as Democrats, and that it's the best way to win, even in those tough, and especially in those tough red and purple districts, is to run as an economic populist. So we interview the candidates. They fill out a questionnaire. So we really make sure that we've got candidates in the room who agree and are ready to run on their values. And then we don't just train them in the nuts and bolts. We don't just train them in how to calculate their win number or how to mine their networks and talk to donors. We do all that too, but then we also talk to them about polling and messaging and do a lot of work to make sure that they feel confident that they can win if they run on their values.
And then is there a next level of support that you give a smaller number? I mean, you got 300 people there now. As you get closer to the midterm elections, do you then sort of say, like, okay, we met those people then, we have a better sense of how they're running over the past 6 months or whatever it is, 8 months, and these are the ones that are taking the positions that we think are the most progressive they can be taking in those districts? Is that how it works? Do you guys then offer more support? Tell me what the process is after this weekend.
Sure. So we have ways of offering ongoing support to all these candidates. We have, ongoing online trainings that we'll offer. We have campaign software that they can use to run their best practices campaign, to manage their websites and their email lists and their endorsements and their press lists that we make available to them. Our staff are always available to be sounding boards and answer questions. But then we also have an advanced candidate training for federal and statewide candidates that want to take their training to the next level. And then, of course, there's the Progressive Change Campaign Committee endorsement process, where some of these candidates will, become formally endorsed by us. And when that happens, we'll raise money for them. We'll funnel in our million members as volunteers. We'll make sure that we're out knocking doors for them and that we're also providing them top line expert strategic advice on things like messaging and media. And so there's a wide range of ways that we'll continue to support all of these candidates, but all of them should receive at least some support, even those who are running in really tiny local races.
So who are do you have competitors in this space? In other words, is Steny Hoyer sitting there and saying, like, oh, these Congress people went there, I'm a little bit, or these congressional candidates went there, I'm a little pissed off that one did or that one did? And who are their competitors? I mean, does that make sense? Am I looking at that in the right way? It's just, first person into their ear is helpful in terms of where they're headed on a trajectory.
Well, the good news is that progressives in the Democratic Party are way ahead of conservatives in the Democratic Party when it comes to building this kind of infrastructure and providing this kind of support to candidates. The bad news is that most of the millionaire self-funders that decide to run on the Democratic ticket are not our kind of candidates. And so, they've got the money, but we've got the know-how. And so, rather than being a competitor in terms of a training or technology program, I think it's just a matter of making sure we're running the smart, good campaigns that can beat a money advantage.
If people wanted to get more information about this, if there are potential candidates out there who are thinking, like, I want to run for, state senate or, the city council somewhere, can people still get in touch with the PCCC, get some of these, learn some of these best practices? And where can people just more generally get more information on this?
Absolutely. Come to our website, boldprogressives.org. That's boldprogressives.org. And it will say, are you running for office? Click on that, and you will find all kinds of ways to sign up, get in our program, get information about upcoming trainings. This is not the last training that we'll do this year or this cycle, and there'll be lots of opportunities in the future to get connected with us and get access to these resources. So come to boldprogressives.org and sign up.
All right, Stephanie Taylor, thanks so much for taking the time. I know you got to get over to Bernie Sanders is addressing you guys, and I know Elizabeth Warren may be speaking a little bit later today or tomorrow, I think it is, and others. So thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos